Hello everyone, I am Ocir, and it's time to look at some more clips and pictures. This time I'm gonna try my best to answer the most general question about Larp. What is Larp? Let's get to it. There's plenty of different types of Larps and Larp communities, so I will try my best to explain this in a way so that it applies to most Larp groups. Also, I'm going to place annotations for clips I got that explain the specific subjects in more detail, which all will open in a new tab, of course. So split this into several steps, and again, this is a really blunt way of explaining it, but here goes. Step 1. You hear about Larp and decide to find out more about it. You Google it and you instantly get confused because there is so many different views on what Larp is, simply because people are different. Step 2. You get in touch with the Larp community and they explain it in a more detailed way, and you begin to form a general idea about what Larp is, and you learn about the rules and safety protocols and so on. And if you haven't already by that point, you are soon going to meet the people arranging the event, often called stuff like Game Master, God, or Elder, or other titles that basically explains that he or she or they are the ones that have the main part of the shared responsibility. Step 3. Preparation for the Larp event begins. You could be invited to workshops or planning meetings if the community has those. And you start to work on getting a costume and a role or a character. Some Larp events have the roles already written beforehand and then hand them out, while on other events the player are asked to make roles on their own. Just to briefly explain how the process of a role works, it is written, then given to the player it belongs to. This role can contain stuff like a main task or plot to complete during the event, personal traits or personality description, as well as other info about your character or role. This may vary depending on the community who arranges it, and so on. Step 4. Some Larps take place indoors, some don't, so you need to pack accordingly. Camping gear, costume, food and drinks are just some examples of this. Step 5. The event begins and you are thrown into your adventure, as is everyone else partaking in the event. And at the moment the Larp begins, you are supposed to pause your real life, unless something critical happens obviously, and become the character you have been given or made. You are no longer the person you were yesterday, but you are now, for example, Sir Knightley of the Shield Table, ready to fight for justice. This is obviously an example, but you get the picture. Step 6. Enjoy it! Sure, it can be a bit scary or rough to jump right into at the start, but in most cases that is because the new players don't know everyone there and for example are scared to make a fool of him or herself. However, it doesn't take long before it is obvious to the new player that everyone else is playing it out with no fear of this happening, which slowly eases the new player into the comfort of the adventure. However, do not underestimate the experience of the actual game. During my time as Larp, I've been genuinely angry, touched, happy, scared, and so on as my characters. Simply because if you let the Larp work its magic, it's really going to feel like you are in a different world with mystical creatures and so on. And to know that I can experience all this while knowing that I'm a completely safe environment, it's basically what makes Larps so special. So that is the most brutal breakdown of the Larp concept I could come up with, and probably also the most straightforward one. Of course, along the way, a lot of different fun stuff happens, workshops, gaining new friends, maybe even discovering new sides of you that you weren't aware of. Sure, Larp can be a challenge. At the beginning, the challenge is really daring to live your character, but that is quickly swapped out with the challenge of succeeding in your adventure as Sir Knightley. As said, there is plenty of different ways to arrange Larp events and a lot of different ways to explain what it is. But if I have to explain it really quick to someone on the go, I usually say it's improvised theatrics without audience, and everyone is the main character. Alright, I guess that's it. If you feel I missed a topic here, then please let me know in the comments and I will try my best to address that in another video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like. If you want more, subscribe. I'm Ocir. Take care.